and representatives of the teams that are going after the points here this year. Some of these riders are normally team members, not competing as a part of a team this year, but still trying to gain those precious points as bonus prizes. $100,000 in individual bonuses at stake, and of course there's also the $500,000 team bonus they're chasing all year long until the finals happen at the Desert Horse Park in December. This competition will begin over a time first round type format where everyone competes from start to finish. Faults count as penalties, and of course they are trying to go as clear as possible. From the first round entries, we're first going to see the individuals and then those who are competing in the teams. From the team riders, only the top 4 teams, based on the total number of faults within each 3-rider team, will advance to the second round, at which time we'll go into a faults converted jump-off mode. Knockdowns will actually add 3 seconds on the clock there. 2 riders will be chosen from each team to show in the first jump-off, and depending on their rankings there, we'll have a third and final rider from each team compete to vie for the gold, the silver, and the bronze medals, and of course the 4th place team just off of the podium. We're about ready to go with our first entry in the order. Standing by as one of our individuals here today, McLean Ward, about to make his way through the arch. He'll join us out of his base in Brewster, New York, and riding for Susan Heller up on the 12-year-old bay Royal Dutch Warmblood gelding by Calvarosi. Here comes Farrow. McLean, a storied rider for the U.S. team and as a U.S. individual. He comes into the week ranked 16th in the world. He has been a World Cup champion, a gold medalist at Olympic Games, Pan Am, and the World Games. He has been, of course, all over the planet earning victories. Today he's going to start our individuals with Farrow. McLean wraps up the round aboard Farrow in a time of 64.43. So, of course, our time allowed here is 79 seconds. He is comfortably inside, and he's got a 4-fault penalty for the rail you saw come down there at fence 8B. So that'll be 4 faults on our first entry. We have 11 entries competing purely as individuals here today. Remember, points accrue throughout the course of the season, both as individuals and for those who are competing as a part of the teams. Bonus money available in both categories. Nicolette Hurt comes up next. She'll be here aboard her entry out of Alamo, California for Iron Horse Equestrian. This will be Chateau 7. It is a 13-year-old bay Oldenburg gelding by Chaco Blue. She has been a regular on the tour here in the Major League stops this season, from Traverse City in the first outing last month, Ontario and Ottawa stops as well on the Major League Tour. The tone you just heard, by the way, is a signal from our judges that they are ready to score the round. It begins a 45-second countdown clock. Riders have to get through the start before the countdown runs out, or the clock will begin automatically. Well, we've seen a clear round among our individuals now. Nicolette Hurt crossing the finish in 72.93. Of course, we saw a quicker time from McLean. That came with a knockdown, however. And so Nicolette Hurt going clear will be your leader as of right now. And here is Georgina Bloomberg, rider coming to us out of her native base in New York, New York. And she pilots for Gotham Enterprises aboard Tolera Colmin, a 12-year-old Australian warm-blood stallion by Coleman. And again, our third of 11 individuals to show here today. Georgina Bloomberg, a big rider for the USA as well in the Pan Am Games, winning Nations Cup teams, 2 World Cup finals as well as an individual. .69.46 will be the time here. Georgina with a knockdown at number 11. So the second to last fence on the course here. And you can see that replay going up on the board as she made her way around there aboard Tolera Colmin. Georgina with Tolera will finish with 4 in 69.46. We have had a couple of scratches in the order, so actually Thomas Joffrey will not be joining us today. We will, however, see Paul O'Shea, a rider who is a native to Ireland, but over the last couple of years has been a part of the Team Eye Candy effort, and in fact contributed to some of their medal match placings this season. Arrived aboard for Eye Candy, he is here aboard Hellcat, an 11-year-old bay Belgian mare by Cassander van het Brimhoff. Wow, as he looked back at the American Gold Cup fence, he watched the rail hit the ground, and that'll be a 4-fault penalty. A blazing effort, though. 60.72 for Paul and Hellcat. Despite the fact that it was quick, it had the 4 faults, so it's going to drop him down into second place behind the only clear so far. That one being Nicolette Hurt and Nishatu 7. And of course, that makes it quite obvious that the objective, first off, is to go penalty-free over the fences. But of course, there's going to be a lot of pressure to go fast as well. And that's what you saw Paul doing there through the course of the round. It was only the last fence that got in the way of his possible lead. If you do have penalties, you go behind those without, and that's what puts Nicolette Hurt on top right now. Lacey Gilbertson is in. She's out of Lake Forest, Illinois, riding Seabrook LLC's Damsel Saint-Germain. This is a 9-year-old Self-Francais mare by Uppercut Kervek, and she's been a part of the Spy Coast Spies all season long. They currently rank second after runner-up placings in Thoroughbred, Traverse City, and Ottawa with Lacey on the teams. That's 5 down there. It's a score of 4 and a time of 68.64 for Lacey and Dumzes Centermel. She'll go into 4th place at this time. And we'll be moving on now to Sam Walker, who has been a member of the Northern Lights effort for their team this year. Fittingly enough, of course, he comes from Canada, riding the Clairwen entry Angelica Hero Z, 10-year-old Chestnut Zangerside mare by Aganix du Seigneur. Again, we're still competing among the individuals here as they attempt to gain their share of the points toward those year-end bonus prizes and the prize money available in today's competition. Yet again, we had a winning pace, but it's the last fence that drops him down. A 4-fault penalty and a 4th place ranking in 65.53 for Sam Walker and Angelica Hero Z. Sometimes it is a steady pace that wins the race, and so far we're seeing that from Nicolette Hurd and Shatsu 7 with their 72.93 time. Next to challenge, though, rider Roberto Turan for Colombia. Of course, he's been a team rider in many outings at the individual or the international competitions, including this season at the World Championships of Show Jumping in Denmark. He rides Rocking Basilisk Farms Santana, a 9-year-old bay Holsteiner gelding by Cascadello. Winning form in progress there as Roberto Turan makes his way through the finish line at a 66.46 time. From what we've seen so far, that's about a medium pace, but it certainly looked quick over the jumps, and certainly with no faults at all, it will take over the lead right now as Gotcha and Simon McCarthy, who is a member of the leading team at this current point, Team Helios, today riding as an individual aboard this 11-year-old bay Holsteiner mare by Staccato for Rock Ridge Farms. There's a brand new target on the board of 66.46. And as Simon joins us here, he is aboard a winner of several events over the course of the season in the Major League Show Jumping Tour. Once again, Gotcha. Quicker pace for a new first place. 62:38 is the finish time for Simon McCarthy. Gotcha says gotcha for the lead now in that quicker time. We've got 3 more to go in the individual ranks. The next 2 on the order you may have not joining us today, so we have now moved on to our Chilean rider Samuel Perot. For years a part of the Chilean efforts in international games, and here today as an individual aboard Captain Z. His entry out of his base in Wellington, Florida. 10-year-old Gray Zangerside Stallion by Calvino Z, again, Captain Z. After a couple of knockdowns there, Samuel Perot will choose to save the efforts of Captain Z for another event. He will retire, it appears, and make his way back to the gate. Next, we go to Kent Farrington. He'll join us here aboard Austria 2. Number 8 in the world currently. He's also been a part this season of the Lugano Diamonds winning effort at Ottawa, one of the stops on the Major League Tour. And he's here for Take the High Road LLC, the owner of Austria 2. This 14-year-old Bay Holsteiner mare by Casal. He's one of only 2 individuals left before we'll make preparations for the team event. .61:46 is the finish time, and we've come to expect quick rounds out of Kent Farrington, and we just saw one aboard Austria 2, the new front runner, again in 61:46. And now the last of our individuals to show. We'll welcome Jordan Coyle, a regular member of the Spy Coast Spies, currently the runner-up in the standings to this point in the season. He actually had second at Thoroughbred and Traverse City, at Thunderbird and Traverse City, that is. And he's aboard for Lawn Farm with this 15-year-old bay Anglo-European Sport Horse gelding by Lupicor. It's Picador. 62.99 is the final time turned in here. Should go into third place for Jordan Coyle and Picador. And, of course, that will put Kent Farrington on top of the standings currently. We, of course, still have plenty more to show here. Remember, today's event, what we've seen so far has only been individual riders. We'll have more coming at us in the next phase. Those will be riders who will still be competing as individuals, but will also be going after the team honors today. And we'll tell you more on those details coming up. Standings on the board, as you can see, we have Kent Farrington leading the way. He's got Austria 2 in that top spot. We have a runner-up time of 62.38 with Simon McCarthy and Gotcha. And in third right now, it's Jordan Coyle and Picador. On down through the list, we'll also have Roberto Turan and Santana clearing 66.46 for fourth. Nicolette Hurt and Shattu 7 for a while. We're the only clear pair. Their 72.93 time places them fifth right now. And then a couple of very quick times, but 4 fault entries, as you can see, in our 6th through 10th positions. We've got Paul O'Shea and Hellcat, McLean Ward and Farrow, Sam Walker and Angelica Hero Z, Lacey Gilbertson and Damsel Sensermel, and Georgina Bloomberg and Tulara Kulmin in those 6th through 10th spots. We've got a little bit of preparation to do here before we go on. Coming up next will be riders who are both competing for individual honors today as well as team competition, and it is an exciting format. If you haven't seen the Major League Show Jumping Tour before, last year or earlier this year here in Traverse City, you are certainly in for a treat, and you're lucky you turned out for our Saturday evening performance. We're also glad you turned out because we are supporting yet another charity from the area, Accelerate the Cure. Traverse City is committed to giving back to the community surrounding Flintfields Horse Park, and 100% of